very. Someone say he's a kind of he's a kind of like a Jesus Christ in the Old Testament, but basically we can learn a lot from Joseph. Now I titled the lesson, Set Someone at Ease. Set someone at ease. If you look at our reading passage from the MSG Bible, right? Probably around verse 16, right? Yeah, it's in verse 16. Joseph answered, "Not I, but God. God will set Pharaoh at ease." Okay, basically God will give the answer. God will interpret the dream to you, all right, and you will feel comfortable at ease because God's explanation. God is going to show you what's going on in your dream. Okay, because God gave the dream to Pharaoh. And that's what Joseph said. That's set someone at ease. You can also use set someone's mind at ease. Okay, set someone's mind at ease. Listening to music will set your mind at ease, right? People, when they feel worried, anxious, you can listen. You can listen to music, or you can go exercise. Set your mind free, or set your mind at ease. That's what we usually use the phrase. Now, let's go to a vocabulary part. Now, the first word is similar, right? To shine with the wavering light. The sample is from the MSG Bible, right? 7 cows came out of the Nile and all was simmered with hell, right? That shining, basically just shining. Basically the shining one. Now that's in Pharaoh's first dream, right? 7 cows come out of the Nile, all shimmered with hell, all shining. That's what I mean. The second word is marsh, right? Marsh. It's a white band. 7 cows graze on the marsh grass. Mm-hmm. 7 cows graze. They came out of what? The Nile River, and they graze on the marsh grass. It's a wet band, wet area. Now we know that on the bank of the Nile River, right? Of course, that's the marsh. Phrase, right? Number 3, skin and bones. Means very thin. You can use the word like a skinny, right? Mm-hmm. Very thin, not unhealthy, not healthy. That's the very thin or skinny. Then 7 other cows, all skin and bones, came out of the river, right? Now we'll talk about that story later. That's skin and bones. You can describe someone all skin and bones. Means very skinny, very thin. Next word, bank, the side of river, right? River bank, right? River bank. We usually use the river bank. Or you can use the river side, right? The 7 other cows stood on the bank of the Nile. That's good. Now we use the bank. Next word, now we understand. Full-bodied, right? Rich in flavor and taste. 7 full-bodied ears of grain grew out of the single stalk. Full-bodied, rich in flavor and taste. You can use that to describe any kind of food, right? Very rich in flavor and taste. Can you think of any kind of food you can use the word full-bodied? Very rich in flavor and taste. Can we describe that? Rich in flavor. Can we use durian?
Durian?
Yeah, pungent flavor. Durian, not a durian.
Durian.
Yeah. Can you describe full body?
What they call Pudahai.
Oh, Pudahai. They call it Pudahai?
Shijiang.
Oh, we put Pudahai?
Well,
I think
they have some called apple something.
Custard apple.
Custard apple. Yeah.
Custard apple.
Yeah.
Okay. So rich in flavor taste. Yeah, probably we can use that. Right? Even pineapple. Mm-hmm. Even pineapple. So we can say, full body, rich in flavor. I'm not sure pineapples have a strong flavor. But durian definitely has strong flavor. Right?
Yeah, strong flavor.
Yeah, strong flavor, right?
Yeah.
Thai food, right? You really like a Thai food, also strong flavor, full body. But anyway, this is a green. Next word, lush. Growing strong and healthy, right? Lush. 7 lush ears of grain grew out of a single stalk. Same thing. Ear, the top part of a plant, a head part of the plant. That's called ear. Then 7 more ears grew out. You can use the ears of corn. You can use that, but these are the ears of what? Ears of grain. Stalk, the long and narrow part of plant. That's called stalk. Now we know we have a stalk. We have leaves, or branch, and root. Right? That's a stalk. You know what it is in Chinese. 7 ears of grain grew out of a single stalk. Okay, single stalk. Do we eat stalk? Do we eat a stalk? Celery, right? Is that celery?
Celery. 芹菜.
Yeah, we eat a stalk.
Yeah,
That's called
right.
stalk, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
not stalk, right? Carrots, we eat roots, right?
Right.
That's carrots, right? And some other green leaves, we eat leaves, right? Like a spinach, we basically eat leaves, right? But the celery, we eat stalks. Sage, a very wise and much experienced person, is sent for all the magicians and sages of Egypt. Who sent for all the magicians and sages of Egypt? Who?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh sent all the magicians, sages of Egypt. You can use the word sage like wise men, right? Wise people, right?
I'm thinking a herb called sage.
What's that?
Herb.
Herb. Oh, okay.
A herb called sage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Magi is probably part of, magi, wise people, right? Wise men. So also sages. Next word, interpret, right? Interpret. To explain the meaning of something, right? They couldn't interpret them to him, right? They means what? They means magicians and sages, right? In Egypt, they couldn't interpret them. What? Them means the dreams. We'll talk about that later, right? Him is what? Pharaoh, right? Now, interpret. Now we use the word quite common nowadays, and when we interpret, explain spoken language, we use interpret. If you translate, right, and give the meaning, we use the translation, right, or translate, right.
Translating
In written words,
written
written words. And interpret, we use spoken words. So like, he's an interpreter, means what? He translates from Chinese to English to Chinese. Okay, that's a spoken words. Interpret. He's an interpreter, means what? In a church, right? Sometimes we invite foreign speaker come to our church. We need someone to translate. Okay, the message we use interpret. Interpret his message to the audience. That's interpret. But here can use the interpret the dreams. Next word, cupbearer. Right? The person who serves the wine. The head cupbearer then spoke up. Okay, and spoke up and said to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Next word, impale. To kill by pushing the pointed object into the body person. The head baker was impaled. You remember the story, right? Okay, that's when the head baker and the head cupbearer were in prison because Pharaoh was furious with them, and Pharaoh threw them into prison, and they stayed with Joseph. Okay, and Joseph interpreted their dream to them. That's impaled, and head baker was impaled. Next phrase, on the run, in a quick flight, quickly. No, what I mean quickly. They brought him on the run from the jail cell, right? They brought him quickly, right, from the jail cell. Him, who is him? Joseph, right? Is that Joseph, right? Joseph. Set someone at ease, which is talk about the phrase, to make someone comfortable, right? And maybe peaceful. God will set Pharaoh's mind at ease. Okay, that's what I mean. Shriveled, extremely dried up. That's a shriveled. 7 other years were shriveled by the eastern wind. Okay, 7 other years of grain were shriveled, dried up by the eastern wind. Scrawny, extremely thin and sickly. As I mentioned, skinny, right? You can use this word, okay? Sickly. 7 scrawny years dried up by the east wind. Right? The east wind. That's scrawny. Very thin, skinny, lean. You can use another word, lean, L-E-A-N. Next phrase, let someone in on something. To make someone know something, right? God is letting Pharaoh is on what it's going to do. So it means what? God is letting Pharaoh understand what he's going to do. Okay? Understand what it's going to, or know what it's going to do. Let's go let someone in on something. Next phrase, on one's heels. Coming right after someone or something. On their heels, 7 more cows came up. Okay, on their heels. That means what? Followed by something, right? Followed by something. That's on one's heels. Stockpile. To store a large number of goods or produce. Their job is to stockpile the grain under Pharaoh's authority, right? Remember the supervisors, the Joseph recommend Pharaoh to appoint supervisor people to stockpile the grain under his authority. Devastated, means what to destroy. Right? This was the country who won't be devastated by the family. Okay. Is that right? Probably something wrong with that. Let's see the phrase where it is. Can you see it from verse? Let me see. This way, not this one. This way, sorry. This way, the country won't be devastated by the famine. Right, verse 36. This way, the country, right? That's the Joseph said to Pharaoh, right? This way, okay, this way, the country won't be devastated by the famine. Okay. Can you see verse 36? 36, right? 36. Okay, that's the vocabulary part. Now let's go. I'm going to skip overview. Okay, you can read the overview. That basically the main point, the main idea of today's reading passage. Let's go to icebreaker. Question number 1. If someone broke their promise, how would you feel and what would you do? At the very beginning of today's passage, right? Here said 2 years passed, right? If you remember the story, I remember Joseph said to the head cupbearer, right? When you get out of jail, tell king, right? King, or you tell Pharaoh, I'm innocent. Okay, maybe you have a chance to leave the prison, right? But you know what happened? What happened was the head cupbearer forgot, right? He didn't say anything to Pharaoh. So here, if someone broke their promise, how would you feel and what would you do? What would you do? You probably felt what? You would feel disappointed, betrayed, right? Okay. And would you trust that person again? No. Okay. But remember Peter, right? Peter denied Jesus 3 times. I won't deny you. I won't deny you, right? But Jesus said, you will. Okay, you will. Yeah, I know it's not easy. It's not easy. And if someone, broke his promise or promise to you, and you would feel, disappointed, betrayed. Probably you would feel angry, right? You feel angry, right? You feel sad. Question number 2. Would you like to hear the good news or bad news first, and why? Would you like to hear the good news or bad news first? According to the survey, I put up this question, I asked my family. They all said, I would hear the bad news first. Is that you? Right? Would you hear the good news and then bad news? According to the survey, most of the people love to hear bad news first. It's true. But today we're going to look at that. God, you say, God, I mean, when I prepared this lesson, I think it was the bad news first. I don't know, but we'll look at that. It's quite interesting. Okay, I think most of us will say, hear the bad news, right, and the good news, right?
Save the best to the last.
Yeah, save the best to the last.
Save the best to the
Save
last.
the best
to the last.
To the last. Okay, save the best. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now let's look at. Let's read. Listen and read. Okay, let's listen. About one question we asked. Right, here comes the dreamer. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who is the dreamer? We know the Joseph, right? Now, we know the Joseph. Now, dreamer. Here comes the dreamer. Now, do you think that? Now, we are going to look at a king, right? Pharaoh, right? He had a dream. And who is going to interpret the dream to them? To him? We'll see. Now we'll look at that today. All right. Let's go to our comprehension. Number one. What happened to Pharaoh in verse 1? What happened to Pharaoh? Verse 1, it says what?
Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile River.
Mm-hmm.
In the third year, I have a question.
Yes.
2 years passed. When?
Yeah, 2 years passed. What is the 2 years passed? You need to read the previous chapter, right? What about 2 years passed? You remember the story I just mentioned, right? Who? Joseph.
Joseph
right?
in
Joseph
jail.
Joseph was in the jail, right? With what?
Oh, he's 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years passed. 2 years later, right? What about 2 years later? Joseph told his cupbearer, right? When you are released, tell Pharaoh, I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong to deserve in the jail. Maybe Pharaoh will set me free from the jail. So that's 2 years later. 2 years passed. 2 years passed. Joseph received nothing from any response from the head cupbearer. That's the one question I'm going to ask. In my question. That's 2 years. But anyway, Pharaoh had a dream, right? Pharaoh had a dream. So what about the dream? So now we're going to look at that, right? Question number 2. What was the Pharaoh's first dream in verses 2 to 4? What was his dream? He was standing by the Nile River. Then what happened? And what did he see? He saw what? 7 cows.
Came out
Came out of the Nile, all shimmering with oil, and grazed on marsh grass, right? Marsh grass. And then that's the right. It's the same dream, right? Then 7 other cows, all skin and bones, came up out of the river after that, stood by them on the bank of the Nile. Then the most important thing is what happened next, right? The cows ate the 7 healthy cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. Wow. Was Pharaoh scared?
Yeah.
Why did he wake up? He said nothing. He just woke up. Okay, he just woke up. Okay, we don't know what happened, but he woke up. Okay, he woke up. So that's the Pharaoh's first dream. Now, next question number 3. What did Pharaoh see in his second dream in verses 5 to 7? He woke up and he went back to sleep and he had another dream, right? And this time, what happened to him? He had another dream, right? And in this dream, what? during the second time, 7 years grain, right? Full-bodied and lush, grew out of the single stalk. Then 7 more years grew up. They were thin and dried up by the easterly wind. And then what? 10 years, swallowed up the 4 healthy years. Then Pharaoh woke up another dream, right? So that's his another dream. Okay. Now question number 4. How did Pharaoh feel about his dreams in verse 8?
He was upset.
Yeah, upset, right? He was upset. He didn't know the meaning of the of his dreams, right? And NIV used the word in the morning. His mind was troubled. If you were Pharaoh, were you upset or were you troubled by your dreams? Or just just dream, just forget about it?
I will be troubled.
That would be trouble.
Yeah, I will be troubled.
Why? Why do you think that's trouble?
What's the meaning of the dream?
Yeah. But each time, do you want to know the meaning of the dream? Each time when you have a dream, do you want to know the meaning of the dream?
That was a bad dream.
That was a bad. Do you think that's a bad dream?
Yes, because he dreamed the skinny cows at the 7 health cows.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's not good. That was not good dream.
What about that? Let's look at examination question number 2, because you all said about the dream. I gotta ask that. Why do you think the dreams upset Pharaoh badly? Why?
Because the Pharaoh is the king of the Egypt.
Uh-huh.
He probably wonders if there's significant meaning of his dream.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
concern in regarding of his king.
He's a kingdom. He's a country.
Yeah,
He's a
country
kingdom.
or his kingdom.
You-
Yeah.
You know, in his palace, they were magicians, they were wise men, they were astrologers, or whoever you call it, right? Wise people. And they interpret stars, skies, everything, including dreams, I think so. But what matters is so bad, Now, the first dream, when you look at that, where Pharaoh, he stood where? He was standing by the Nile River, right? I think what troubled him so much is the Nile River is very important in Egypt, right?
Oh, yes.
Why? It's very important,
The
right?
life symbol.
It's like a lifeblood of Egypt, right?
Yes.
Right? Think about that. Egypt is a desert, right? Think about it, it's a desert.
Yeah.
It's a desert, right? But if you look at the history of Egypt, did they really suffer famine, suffer drought? Not really, because the Nile River. If you remember Abraham, Abraham lived in Canaan, right? And what happened to Canaan? What about Canaan? Sometime there was a famine, right? That's when Abraham went down to Egypt, right? Because there was a famine, so they went down to Egypt. Remember that? You remember the story? Right? They went down to Egypt, and also Isaac went down to Egypt also. I remember he went down because of famine. So this is a dream that really troubled Pharaoh about the Nile River. Probably that's why he wanted to know something, right? That's their life. What happened? And also cows, and also what else? Do they worship cows in Egypt? They have all kinds of gods and goddesses. They worship cows. I think that they worship cows. Think about Moses, the people of Israel, when they were in the desert, right? They made what? Golden cow to worship, right? So that's why look at the cows, look at the skinny cows and healthy cows, and skinny cows, ate up healthy cows. That's terrifying, that's scary. That's scary. And grain, you think about grain, the same thing, right? That's their life. Okay? So if you have this kind of dream, probably, what's going on? I want to know the answer. Okay? Who are you going to ask for if you have this kind of dream? Okay. For Christians, we probably, the first response will be, you probably ask God, or you may talk to someone else. What's the meaning of my dream? Okay, what's the meaning of my dream? All right, so he was upset, he was troubled, he was disturbed by the dreams. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Number 5. Whom did Pharaoh summon to interpret the dreams in verse 8? What did they respond to his dreams? You look at verse.
He sent for all the magicians and sages of Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And today.
They couldn't interpret them to him.
NIV said that he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt, right? Definitely in his court, in his palace, there were, I don't know how many, hundreds, right? Magicians and wise men, right? They were good at interpreting dreams, they are good at, there's just wise men, intelligent, right? People working for Pharaoh, but they couldn't interpret the dream to Pharaoh, okay? Because this is really from God. This is really from God. This is something, okay? Now, question number 6. What did the head cupbearer said about himself as he spoke up to Pharaoh in verse 9?
I just now remembered something. I'm sorry. I should have told you this long ago.
Yes.
Once when Pharaoh got angry with his servants.
Okay, so that's the. Yeah, that's they say. Oh, the head cupbearer said, "Oh, I'm sorry, right?" Okay, I should remember something. I'm sorry. I should have told you this long ago, right? Okay, and if you look at NIV used that. The chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "Today I'm reminded of my what? Shortcomings, my failure, my shortcomings, my drawbacks. Something I did wrong." Okay, but the message said, "I'm sorry." So now next question, we'll ask some kind of question later. Now let's move on to the next question. Number 7, right? Where did the head cupbearer meet Joseph in verses 10 to 12? And the cupbearer said to Pharaoh, right? And he said what? Once, right?
Once when Pharaoh
got angry with his servants, he locked me and the head baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Right. So where did he meet Joseph? In where you look at that, right? In the house of the captain of the guard. Now you know the captain of the guard, right? And Joseph used to work, right? When Joseph was sold to Egypt, right? He was sold to whom? It's not the house, the captain of the guard, right? Because Potiphar thought Joseph violated his wife, right?
Yes.
So he put him in the what? In the jail, right? That's
yes.
the basically the right. That's the place he mentioned, right? And also here, the head cupbearer and also the head baker were locked in the house, the captain of the guard, and that's why he and the the baker, right? The head baker had the dreams. Okay, that's the question number 8, right? Now let's move on to question 14. Now question 14. Let's move on. No, not yet. Question number 8, right? How did the head cupbearer know that Joseph could interpret Pharaoh's dreams in verses 10 to 13? Remember that he and the head baker had a dreams, right? And Joseph, if you keep reading, and you will say, we told him our dreams, right? You see that?
Yeah.
We told him means what? We told Joseph our dream and he interpreted them for us, and each dream separated, and things turned out just as he interpreted. I was returned to my position, and the head baker was impaled, and it means killed, right? That's what happened. Okay, that's what happened. So, question number 9. How was Joseph released from the prison in verse 14? As soon as Pharaoh heard what head cupbearer said, what? He sent, right? He sent for, or he called for Joseph, right? He called for Joseph. That's the question. Now, question number 10. What did Joseph prepare for meeting with the Pharaoh in verse 14? Joseph, he cut his hair, put on clean clothes, and came to Pharaoh. Okay, and came to Pharaoh. Yes, exactly. And came to Pharaoh. So that's he kind of make himself clean, and to meet Pharaoh. Now let's move on to next question. Now we know that question 15, basically question 11. Okay. What did Pharaoh say to Joseph in verse 15? He just said he had a dream, right?
Dream.
Yeah, I had a dream. Could you interpret, right? To me, right? That's basically what he said, right? What about question 12? What was Joseph reply in 16?
Now I got God.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, Pharaoh want and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not I, but God will set Pharaoh's mind at ease. Okay. Now let's go back and. But let's stop right here. Let's go to examination. Question number 1. This is some interesting question we are going to discuss. Question number 1. What do you think Joseph felt in prison without receiving any response from head cupbearer after perhaps more than 2 years? If we were Joseph, we could be disappointed, right?
Yeah.
Betrayed. 2 years, okay? He received no reply from head cupbearer. But would you report it to king, to Pharaoh, if you were the head cupbearer? When you were relieved, would you report to him? Oh, I met a Hebrew young man in jail, and he told me he was innocent. Would you do that? Probably not, right? He's a nobody, and he's a foreigner. He's not he's not an Egyptian, right? He's just a boy. Maybe just coincidentally, right? He interpreted dream to us, and it turned out to what he said. Now we do have a lot of magicians and wise men in king's palace, right? How do I believe you are innocent? Right?
But he has waited for the opportunity to tell the king. This is a God gave them the opportunity.
Ah.
Yeah, you are right. He has no no point to tell him that there's someone in the
Yeah.
that he was innocent and he was a slave boy.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe
yeah.
he caused some trouble for himself, right?
Exactly, because, yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Why do I have to rescue a foreigner, a prisoner, right? Right? So, yeah, let's go on. Now, question number 3, because we talked about question number 2, right? Number 3, do you think the head cupbearer felt sorry for his ingratitude to Joseph in verse 9? What do you think? Because the verse 9, and he said, remember they said, I just remembered something, I'm sorry. I should have told you this long ago. He's sorry for what?
His
forgot to
Joseph.
Huh?
I don't think he felt sorry for Joseph. He said, I was sorry that he felt sorry to the king, but not to the Joseph.
Yeah.
Not to Joseph.
Yeah, not Joseph, right?
Not Joseph.
Not Joseph. Because at this moment, king was very furious, very angry and anxious, right? And he couldn't find anyone to interpret his dreams to him. And the head cupbearer said, oh, I'm sorry, I should have told you. There's someone probably could interpret dream to you, right? So he didn't feel sorry for not telling, king about Joseph. No, not at all. Okay. Now, next question will be, number 4, what did Joseph respond to Pharaoh in verse 16 reveals his character? I think this is amazing, right? But because Joseph said what? Not I, but God, right? Joseph could have said, yes, I can, yes, I can interpret dream to you. From little I dreamed a lot. I have a lot of dreams. I could interpret dream to Pharaoh, but he didn't say that. He said not I, but God, who can interpret dream. Only God. A lot of times. Quite often we take the credit, right? We kind of steal God's credit. This is God, not I. Every good gift, every perfect gift comes from God, not from us. Everything is from God, not from us. We have nothing. I just mentioned earlier. We have nothing. Everything is from God. But we tend to say, it is I can do it, it is I can do it. Remember in the book of John, Jesus said, apart from me, you can do nothing. It is true. We can do nothing if we don't have God. This is very important. But with God, all things are possible. I think that's very, I pretty love this. When Joseph answered, not I, but God. And God will set Pharaoh's mind at ease. Right? Our gifts, the gifts from God, so-called our gifts, not to self-serve us, not to serve us, but serve people. That's what Joseph said, right? Not I, but God. God will set Pharaoh's mind at ease. We use the gift of God to serve people. To lead people to God. I think that's the gift, that's the purpose of the gifts. We can, if you can sing, if you can dance for the glory of God, to win people to Jesus Christ. I think that's something we have to learn from Joseph's story. I want to stop right here. That's the first part. This is a long story, but we have something else to discuss. Now we know the recitation, Bible memory verse. That's from should be 16. I didn't change. Should be chapter 41, verse 16, right? Okay, Genesis 41, 16. Okay, 41, 16.
15, right?
Yeah, 16, 41, 16. Genesis 41, 16. Okay. Okay. Anything we want to discuss? If not, let's read a Bible main verse. Okay, recitation, right? Recite a verse. This is something you need to learn from Joseph. Okay, let's read it twice. Okay, read it twice. 1, 2, 3, go. Joseph answered, "Not I, but God. God will send Pharaoh to my enemies." Genesis 41, 16. One more time. Joseph answered, "Not I, but God. God will send Pharaoh to my enemies." Genesis 41, 16. Okay, this is very, very important. We can learn from Joseph. Not I, but God. If we can teach, not because of we, but God. If we can sing, if we can preach, whatever we do, not I, but God. Okay? Because God wants to save another person.